Any one of you, please unmute yourself and let me know whether my slides are visible or not and whether I am audible or not.
It's
Yes,
visible,
sir.
sir.
Okay, okay. Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Just wait for a minute. Let me open the slide which we want to discuss today. So, yes. So we have almost came to an end of this module. Only one more topic is left. Before starting that topic, I want to make you solve one more problem, and that problem is related to the modified Goodman diagram for torsional shear stress. That means when in a body shear stress is acting, or when a body is subjected to torsion under fatigue, then we have to design that body by the help of modified Goodman diagram. So let us solve one problem related to modified Goodman diagram for torsional shear stress. After that, we will go back to the last part of this module. So take down this problem. The problem is a transmission shaft of cold drawn steel 27 Mn2 SUT 500 Newton per millimeter square and SYT 300 Newton per millimeter square is subjected to a fluctuating torque which varies from minus 100 Newton meter to plus 400 Newton meter. Factor of safety is 2 and expected reliability is 90%. Neglect the effect of stress concentration. Determine the diameter of the shaft. Use distortion energy theory. What is given in the problem? There is a shaft. It is made from cold drawn steel 27 Mn2. SUT and SYT values are given to you. This shaft is subjected to fluctuating torque. That means minimum torque is minus 100 Newton meter and maximum torque is plus 400 Newton meter. Due to this fluctuating torque, what will happen? The shaft will fail in fatigue. Why? Because torque is fluctuating in nature, and I know that any fluctuating torque or any fluctuating load will give rise to fatigue failure. So due to this fluctuating torque, shaft will fail in torsion by fatigue. Fine. Reliability is given to you 90%. Factor of safety is given to you. What I need to find out? I need to find out the diameter of the shaft using distortion energy theory. So I know that this shaft is failing by fatigue in torsion. That means I need to find out what? I need to find out endurance strength of this shaft in torsion, and that endurance strength is nothing but SSE. That endurance strength is nothing but SSE. What is SSE? SSE is the endurance strength of this shaft in fatigue. What is SE? SE is endurance strength of the same shaft if on this shaft either axial or bending load would have been act. Fine. So first, what we will do? First, we will calculate what is the value of SE, and then since in the problem it is given to you that use distortion energy theory. If you remember when we were solving the theories of failure, in that theory of failure we have proved one relation in distortion energy theory, that SE is equal to 0.577 times of SSE. So once I get the value of SE, I will multiply it with 0.577, then I will get the value of SSE. Why? Because distortion energy theory is used, and then we will use that modified Goodman diagram for torsional shear stress to design the component, that is to find out the diameter of this shaft. Is the process clear to all of you? Any doubt in the process? Are you having any kind of doubt in the process?
No, sir.
Okay, so let us find out firstly what is the endurance strength of the shaft, that is AC. So I know how I can find out the value of AC. I have the relation. I have the relation that AC is equal to KA, KB, KC, KD, SE dash. Fine. So one by one, what we will do, we will find out all these factors: KA, KB, KC, KD, and SE dash. What is SE dash? I know that SE dash depends upon the material. I know I know that SE dash depends upon the material of the shaft. Fine. So since in the given problem the shaft material is steel, so from design data book, I know that for steel, AC dash is how much? It is zero point 0.5 times of SUT. SUT is given to me, that is 500 Newton per millimeter square. So AC dash will be zero point 0.5 into 500, which is 250 Newton per millimeter square. Fine. Next is Ka. What is Ka? Ka is surface finish factor. I know from design data book, Ka is given by A into SUT to the power B, where values of A and B depends upon the machining condition, how you have machined the problem or how you have machined the shaft. If you see in the given problem, it is written that a transmission shaft of cold drawn steel, that means the machining condition is cold drawn. So from design data book, in the table of Ka, for cold drawn condition, you will get the value of A as 4.51 and you will get the value of B as minus 0.265. Fine. So just use this expression in the equation of Ka, that is A into SUT to the power B. You will get the value of Ka, and that Ka is 0.86. So far, any doubt regarding the calculation part of AC dash and calculation part of KA and
No, sir.
calculation part of K? Okay, fine. Next is what? Next is KB. What is KB? KB is size factor, and that depends upon the diameter of the shaft. That depends upon diameter of the shaft. Fine. So I have told you earlier that if the diameter you want to find out, because in this problem you want to find out the diameter, so you cannot select the value of KB because KB depends upon for different diameter what is the value of KB that is given in the data book. So when you want to find out the diameter of the shaft, then we go for optimum condition, and the optimum condition is the second condition. If you have seen the design data book, that second condition is assuming that diameter varies from 7.5 mm to 50 mm. For that case, value of KB is how much? It is 0.85. Next is what? Next is Kc. I know that Kc depends upon the reliability value. Since in the problem it has been given to you that reliability is 90%. So from design data book corresponding to 90% reliability, I got Kc as 0.897. Remember, in this problem, I will not take the value of Kd because I know that Kd is what? I know that Kd is 1 upon Kf, and Kf, that is fatigue stress concentration factor, is 1 plus Q times of Kt minus 1. Fine. Since in the equation of Kf this Kt is coming, so when you will divide or when you will take the reciprocal of Kf, you will get the value of Kd. But if you read the problem carefully, in the problem it is written that neglect the effect of stress concentration. That means you will not take the stress concentration factor into account. If you are not taking the stress concentration factor into account, Kf will also not come, and if Kf is not coming, Kd will also not come. So I will not take Kd. So my final formula becomes Se is equal to Ka, Kb, Kc into Se dash. Is it clear? Any doubt?
No, sir. Clear, sir.
Fine. So we have Ka, we have Kb, we have Kc as well as Se dash. So I will multiply all these values and I will get the value of Se. So finally the endurance limit Se is coming out to be how much? It is 163.92 Newton per millimeter square. क्या कोई डाउट है यहाँ तक? AC तक? कोई डाउट है किसी को यहाँ तक?
Clear, sir.
Okay, fine. So since the problem is related to torsion in this shaft, fluctuating torque is acting, but I know this AC, that is endurance limit, is due to axial load and due to bending load. That means I have to convert this SE in terms of SSE. What is SSE? SSE is the endurance limit of the shaft subjected to fluctuating torsional load, and in the problem it has been given that you have to use distortion energy theory of failure. So if you remember, when we were discussing the distortion energy theory of failure, we have did one long proof. From that long proof we came to know that the value of Se is how much? It is 0.577 times of SSE. Fine. So I will multiply SE with 0.577 times, then I will get SSE. And this SSE is what? This is endurance limit of this shaft subjected to fluctuating torque. But if the same problem, if in place of torque, if I say this shaft is subjected to fluctuating axial load, which varies from minus 100 Newton to plus 400 Newton, then you will not do this thing. That is SE is equal to 0.577 times of SE. Why? Because SE represent the endurance limit of any component subjected to either axial load or bending load, and SSE represent the flux, that is endurance limit of any component subjected to fluctuating torque. Is it clear? क्या ये difference clear हुआ? Difference between SE and SSE?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay, so SSE is 0.577 times of SE. SE we have 163.92. Multiply it with 0.577. You will get the value of SSE, and that is coming out to be 94.58 Newton per millimeter square. Fine. क्या कोई doubt है regarding the calculation of SSE?
No, sir.
Fine. So now let us move to the modified Goodman diagram for torsional shear stress. This is the modified Goodman diagram. So I got the value of SSE, but in x-axis I need to get the value of SSY, because area under the region OABC represents the modified Goodman diagram for torsional shear stress. So I need to get the value of SSY. But if you see in the problem, in this problem, what is given to you? In the problem, this SYT value is given to you, that is 300 Newton per millimeter square. Again, this SYT value is when the component is subjected to either axial load or bending load. So I have to convert this SYT into SSY. How we can convert? Again, I have to use this distortion energy theory of failure. Again, I know that by distortion energy theory of failure, yield strength in shear, that is SSY, is how much? Again, it is 0.577 times of SYT. So 0.577 into SYT. SYT is how much? It is 300. So multiply it and you will get the value of SSY, that is 173.1 Newton per mm square. Is it clear? क्या कोई डाउट है SSY पे के कैलकुलेशन में?
No, sir. Clear.
Okay, other people please respond. क्या क्लियर है यहाँ तक SSY तक?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, fine. So we got the value of SSY. Now we can plot the graph. Now we can plot this graph. Fine. That is which graph? This graph. I got the value of SSY. I got the value of SSE. So I can plot this graph OABC. Fine. But but the failure point can be anywhere on the boundary of the curve. It can be on the straight line AB, it can be on the straight line BC. Fine, that means that point X. So how we can find out? For that I need to get the value of theta, that is the failure point can be anywhere on the boundary of the curve. So if I get the value of this angle theta, if I get the value of this angle theta, then I know that intersection of the straight line and the boundary of your modified Goodman diagram for torsional shear stress, that value will be the failure point for my problem. So I have to get the value of theta, and I know this theta will be how much? This theta is nothing but slope of the this curve, that is y-axis is tau a, y-axis is tau a, and x-axis is tau m. That means I know that tan theta is nothing but tau a by tau m. That is tan theta is nothing but tau a by tau m. But in my problem, if you see in the problem, but in my problem, what is given to you? Fluctuating torque is given to you. That means mt. Let us denote torque by m suffix t. That is mt minimum is given to you, that is minus 100 Newton meter, and mt maximum is given to you, that is 400 Newton meter. So I can find out what is the value of mean torque, that is mt suffix small m, that is this value mt suffix small n, mt suffix small m mean torque, and m t suffix small a, that is alternating torque. How I know that mean torque is half of mt max plus mt min minimum, and alternating torque is half of mt max minus mt minimum. Fine. Then when I get the value of mtm and mta, I know that I know that tan theta is tau a by tau m. I can convert this tau a and tau m in terms of torque, mt a and mtm. How? By torsion equation. So when you convert it, that is the final, when you convert it, your equation will be nothing but this equation. That is the tan theta will be, since it is tau a, so it will be torque, alternating torque mta divided by mean torque mtm. Fine. Then if we take the inverse of this ratio and then we take the tan inverse of this ratio, I will get the value of theta. Once I get the value of theta, I can draw this straight line. Then the intersection point of the straight line and the boundary of the modified Goodman diagram will give you that point, that failure point. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Fine.
sir.
So let us find out the value of theta. So before finding out the value of theta, let us find out the value of alternating torque and mean torque. So, okay. Yes, mean torque is what? Mean torque is half of maximum torque plus minimum torque. Maximum torque is 400, minimum torque is minus 100, so plus minus minus. So mean torque is half of 400 minus 100, which is 150 Newton meter, and alternating torque is, I know that, half of maximum torque minus minimum torque. Maximum torque is 400 and minimum torque is minus 100, so minus minus becomes plus. So alternating torque is half of 400 plus 100, which is 250 Newton meter. So tan theta becomes alternating torque divided by mean torque. So that is tan theta is equal to 250 divided by 150. Theta will be tan inverse of 250 by 150, which is 59.04 degree. So is it clear? Theta value? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So once I got the value of theta, then from origin I can draw a straight line, and at an angle of 59.04 degree, and that straight line will intersect somewhere on the boundary of the modified Goodman diagram for torsional shear stress, and that intersection point is nothing but point x. So that point x will have two coordinate, one coordinate along x-axis, and that value will be nothing but sm. That value will be nothing but sm, and another value will be the y coordinate, and that value will be nothing but sa. That value will be nothing but sa. So ssm, sorry, sm is the mean failure point when axial and bending load is acting. SSM means the mean failure point when torsional shear stress is acting. Similarly, SSA is alternating failure point when torsional shear stress is acting. Fine. So SSM and SSA. But in this diagram, if you see, the value of SSA will be equal to the value of SSE. Why? Because it is exactly because that y-axis is coinciding with that SSE point. Yes or no? Yes or no? This
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
value of SSA will be equal to SSE. Why equal? Because this AB is a straight line parallel to x axis. अगर ये AB जो है अगर ये straight line नहीं होता then SSA SSE के बराबर नहीं होता, जो कि आपका torsion आपका modified Goodman diagram in axial as well as in bending moment में एप्लीकेबल नहीं है, बिकॉज ए बी जो है वो इंक्लाइन स्ट्रेट लाइन है. बट इन Goodman diagram in for torsional shear stress in Goodman diagram, this AB is a straight line parallel to x-axis. So always remember SSA value will coincide with SSE value, and that is nothing since we have found out the value of SSE, that is 94.58, which will be equal to the value of SSA, that is 94.58 Newton per mm square. क्या ये बात क्लियर हुआ कि यहाँ पे एस एस ई एस एस ए के बराबर होगा, जबकि ये जो हमने कल जो प्रॉब्लम किया था मॉडिफाइड गुडमैन डायग्राम फॉर एक्सियल एंड बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस, उस कंडीशन के लिए इट विल नॉट बी इक्वल. क्या क्या ये बात क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. And I also know that only the alternating failure stress will give rise to fatigue failure. Mean stress will never give rise to fatigue failure. So no need to find out the value of SSM. We already got the value of SSA. Now we can determine the diameter of the shaft. How we can determine? Since factor of safety is given to me, I know that factor of safety is failure stress by allowable stress. Failure stress is nothing but SSA divided by allowable stress. Corresponding to SSA, the allowable stress is tau A. So I can write tau A is equal to SSA by factor of safety. Fine. So SSA already given to you, that is 94.58, divided by factor of safety is also given to you in the problem, which is 2. And what is tau A? For tau A, I will use the torsion equation, that is T by J equal to tau by R equal to G theta by L. Since nothing has been told about G theta and L, so I will exclude that third part. I will only take T by J equal to tau by R. So T will be tau into J by R. So from that expression, that is this expression, T by J equal to tau by R. From this expression, T is nothing but MT, alternating torque MTA. It will be how much? Tau into J by R. I am interested, and this tau will be nothing but alternating torque tau A, and this tau A will be what? MT into J by R. MTA is given to me in the problem. J for a circular shaft, J will be pi by 32 d to the power cube divided by R. R will be d by 2. So that d cancel, and 32 to the 16. Finally, your expression becomes 16 into MTA by pi d cube equal to SSA by factor of safety. SSA we know 94.58. Factor of safety is 2 given in the problem. MTA, that is alternating bending moment, already we have calculated 250 Newton meter. Fine. So I will use this expression and I will get the value of D, and the diameter of the shaft is 29.97 mm. So from this diameter, what I understood that if the diameter, that is maximum, I can make the diameter of this shaft to be 29.97 mm. If you exceed this diameter value, your shaft will fail in fatigue if that shaft is subjected to fluctuating torque. Is it clear? क्या कोई डाउट है?
Clear, sir.
ओके, अदर पीपल, बाकी लोग रिस्पॉन्ड करो, डाउट है कि नहीं इसमें?
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Clear, sir.
Okay, so this was
Yes.
the problem related to modified Goodman diagram for torsional shear stress. Similar type of problems are given in the book, so please practice those problems, unsolved problems as well as solved problems also. Fine. So now we have came to an end of this module. We are only left with this last portion of this module. So since we are having class till 11:30 a.m., so we can complete this last part. Fine. So let us start this last part of this module, which is fatigue design under combined stresses. अभी तक मैंने जो भी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया in fatigue design, in that particular problem, the entire body or the entire component was subjected to one type of stress. That stress can be an axial stress due to axial load, it can be a bending stress due to bending load, it can be a shear stress due to torsional moment. But now the entire component will be subjected to combined stress condition. That means in a single component, the entire component will be subjected to either combination of axial load and bending moment, or combination of bending moment and torsional moment, or combination of axial load plus bending moment plus torsional moment. Then, and if that those torsional moment, bending moment and axial load, if those loads and moment are fluctuating in nature, then definitely that body will fail in fatigue. So that type of design is termed as fatigue design under combined stresses. Now if you read the first point, it is very much clear that the problem that we have discussed so far, that are based on construction of modified Goodman diagram for the component subjected to either axial load, bending moment or torsional moment separately. Separately we were considering, but but reality, but if you take the real time problems, if you take the industry problems, fine, it is not necessary that the entire component will be subjected to either bending load or torsional moment or axial load, but high chances, there will be a high amount of chances that the entire component is subjected to combined loading condition. Then how to design that component in fatigue, that is all about fatigue design under combined stresses. Is it clear? क्या समझ में आया? What is fatigue design under combined stresses?
Yes, sir.
बाकी लोग रिस्पॉन्ड करो, क्या समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Yes, understood.
ओके फाइन. सो यहाँ पे दो कंडीशन हो सकता है. क्या कंडीशन? पहला कंडीशन, दैट द एंटायर कंपोनेंट इज सब्जेक्टेड टू अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ बेंडिंग मोमेंट, torsional moment and axial load. Second condition is the problem can be a two-dimensional problem, can be a three-dimensional problem, because अभी तक हमने जो भी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया था दैट इज इन 1D प्रॉब्लम. चाहे आप वो मॉडिफाइड गुडमैन डायग्राम का बात करो फॉर एक्सियल एंड बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस और फॉर टॉर्शनल shear stress. But in fatigue design under combined stresses, two type of problem can come. One problem is your when the component is either, or when the component is subjected to either two-dimensional stresses or three-dimensional stresses, or the component is subjected to combined stresses, that is combination of axial load, bending moment and torsional moment. Then how I am designing the component. So let us take the case. So if a component is subjected to say two-dimensional stresses. Fine. Then each dimension, that is, say sigma x is one normal stress along x-axis, sigma y is one normal stress along y-axis. Then in since the you are designing the component for fatigue, each component will have separately its mean component as well as its alternating component, तभी तो fatigue होगा. Yes or no? अगर हम टू
Yes,
डायमेंशन
sir.
की बात करें तो एक्स और वाई आता है, अगर हम थ्री डायमेंशन की बात करें तो एक्स वाई और जेड आता है. ठीक है. और अगर आप फटीक का बात कर रहे हो देन एक्स कंपोनेंट में मीन स्ट्रेस लगेगा, ऑल्टरनेटिंग स्ट्रेस लगेगा, तभी तो फटीक होगा. वाई डायरेक्शन में मीन स्ट्रेस लगेगा, ऑल्टरनेटिंग स्ट्रेस लगेगा, तभी तो फटीक होगा. जेड डायरेक्शन में मीन स्ट्रेस लगेगा, ऑल्टरनेटिंग स्ट्रेस लगेगा, तभी तो फटीक होगा. यस और नो?
Yes, sir.
फाइन. सो ईच direct axis will be subjected to mean stress as well as alternating stress. So such type of problem we normally solve by distortion energy theory of failure. And if you remember, when we were discussing the concept of distortion energy theory of failure, we have proved this equation. That is, the equation of distortion energy theory of failure is sigma square is equal to half times of sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus sigma y minus sigma z whole square plus sigma z minus sigma x whole square plus 6 times of tau xy square plus tau yz square plus tau zx square. This is the equation of distortion energy theory of failure in all the three dimensions. क्या ये बात क्लियर है? हेलो 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 कैन यू हियर मी? हेलो हेलो एम आई ऑडिबल? Please respond whether I am audible or not. Please respond whether I am audible or not. Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Hello.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I?
Now you are audible.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Actually, network connection was lost for some time, so I also stopped. Fine. So let us resume.
Yes, sir.
So I think, can anyone please respond where I stopped? so that I will continue from that portion. Can anyone please respond whether I stopped?
Formula. You are talking about the formula.
Yes, so this is the three-dimensional equation for the distortion energy theory of failure. So according to our problem, say if our problem is of 2D, then I will not take the third dimension into account. If our problem is of 3D, then I will take the all the three dimensions into account. So basically, when when a component is either subjected to two-dimensional fluctuating stresses or three-dimensional fluctuating stresses or a combined stresses, fine, then we design that component in fatigue by the distortion energy theory of failure, and its equation is sigma square is equal to half times of sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus sigma y minus sigma z whole square plus sigma z minus sigma x whole square plus 6 times of tau xy square plus tau yz square plus tau zx square. Is it clear? Koi doubt?
Yes, sir. No.
Fine. Where sigma x, sigma y, and sigma z are normal stresses along x, y, and z direction, and tau xy, tau yz, and tau zx are in plane shear stresses. So if my problem is of 2D, I will not take the third direction into account. Fine. So according to the problem, I will use this equation and I will solve the problem. क्या कोई डाउट है यहाँ तक? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So if I take the case of two-dimensional stresses, fine. Say this is equation number 1. Assume that this is equation number 1. For two-dimensional stresses, this sigma z will be 0, tau zx will be 0, tau yz will be 0, and tau xy will be 0. If I say that there is no shear stress acting and only normal stress is acting in 2D direction, then I can eliminate sigma z, tau xy, tau yz, and tau zx from equation number 1. When you eliminate these things, then your equation number 1 takes the shape sigma is equal to under root of sigma x square minus sigma x sigma y plus sigma y square. Say this is equation number 2. Is it clear? Equation number 2.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. Now I have told you that since we are designing the component for fatigue, I know that any component will fail by fatigue only if it is having alternating component as well as mean component. That means this equation number 2, it will have one component as alternating component, that is sigma a, and another component as mean component sigma m. That means in x direction we will have alternating component as well as mean component. In y direction also we will have alternating component as well as mean component, and those alternating and mean component are from equation number 2. If I talk about the mean component, then the equation number 2 I can write it as sigma m is equal to under root sigma xm square minus sigma xm into sigma ym plus sigma ym square, where sigma xm and sigma ym are mean component of stress along x-axis. Similarly, again equation number 2, the alternating component will be given by sigma a is equal to under root sigma xa square minus sigma xa into sigma ya plus sigma ya square. Again, in x direction, x sigma xa and sigma ya are alternating stress acting along x direction as well as y direction. Say this is equation number 3. Any doubt in equation number 2 and 3 which has came from equation number 1? कोई डाउट है किसी को?
No, sir.
Okay, so this was the case when we are dealing with two-dimensional component or three-dimensional component. But if the same component is subjected to combined loading condition, then how we can write down the design equation? Again I go back to equation number 1, this equation number 1. Fine. So in case of, say, the component is subjected to bending moment as well as torsional moment, then I know that bending moment will create a bending stress and torsional moment will create a torsional stress. Fine. And the bending moment is creating bending stress along which direction? Along x direction. And if I take xy plane, then because I know that twisting or torque occurs in xy plane. Fine. So that's why I will take only sigma x component and tau xy component from equation number 1. I will eliminate sigma y, sigma z, tau yz and tau zx. When you eliminate these things from equation number 1, your resulting equation becomes equation number 4, that is sigma is equal to under root sigma x square plus 3 tau xy square, where sigma x is nothing but sigma b, that is bending stress acting on the x direction. And what is tau xy? Tau xy is in plane shear stress acting in xy plane due to torque acting in the xy plane. Is it clear? Equation number 4. I have eliminated sigma y, sigma z, tau yz, tau zx. कोई doubt है?
Yes.
Fine.
No,
But
sir.
in some other problem, there may be a case that you have to eliminate sigma x, tau xy. You have to take sigma z, tau yz, tau zx. Then accordingly your equation will change. I am just taking a example. So you have to read the problem carefully. Accordingly, you have to frame the equation. ठीक है? कोई doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So again, this equation number 4, again it will have alternating component as well as mean component because we are designing for fatigue. So alternating component of equation number 4 will be equation number 5, which is nothing but sigma a is equal to under root sigma xa square plus 3 times of tau xy a square, where sigma xa is alternating bending stress along x-axis and tau xya is alternating shear stress in xy plane. Similarly, equation 4 will have a mean component also, and that is nothing but equation number 6, and it is given by sigma m is equal to under root sigma xm square plus 3 tau xym square, where sigma xm is mean component of bending stress along x-axis and tau xym is mean component of in plane shear stress in xy plane. Any doubt? Any doubt in equation number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? कोई डाउट है किसी
No,
को?
sir. No, sir.
Okay, okay. So if we are talking about two-dimensional stress or three-dimensional stress, my design equation will be equation number 2 and 3. And if I talk about combined loading, then my design equation will be equation number 4, 5 and 6. So if I am solving a two-dimensional problem or three-dimensional problem, fine, then this is the value of sigma m, this is the value of sigma a. Then I can use modified Goodman diagram to design the component. Fine. Whether you can use either the modified Goodman diagram for axial and bending stress, or you can use the modified Goodman diagram for torsional shear stress. In that modified Goodman diagram, if you want to get the failure point, what you need the value of theta. So how I can get the value of theta? I know that tan theta is nothing but sigma a by sigma m If I am talking about two-dimensional and three-dimensional stresses, this is sigma m, this is sigma a. Fine, I will calculate these from equation number 3 and I will put in this equation, and if I take the tan inverse of this expression, I will get the value of theta. And if I am solving any problem of combined loading condition of bending and torsional moment, this is the value of sigma a and this is the value of sigma m, then tan theta will be sigma a will become this value, sigma m will become this value, then theta will be tan inverse of this sigma a by sigma m. You will get the value of theta, and then you can construct the modified Goodman diagram and you can design the component. That means you can find out the dimension of the component. So this is the concept of fatigue design subjected to combined stresses. Any doubt? कोई डाउट है किसी को?
No, sir. No,
Oh,
sir.
okay. So you have to read the problem carefully कि प्रॉब्लम में क्या बोला गया है, कि वो 2D का प्रॉब्लम है या 3D का प्रॉब्लम है या फिर कंबाइंड लोडिंग का प्रॉब्लम है. Accordingly we will use the design equation. With the help of design equation we will calculate the value of alternating stress and mean stress, and then we will get the value of theta. And once if we get the value of theta, we will plot the modified Goodman diagram, and from that diagram we will find out the dimension of the component, which is nothing but you are designing the component. I hope it is clear to you. क्या कोई doubt है किसी को? If there is having any doubt, you can ask, or else we will solve a problem. With that we will wrap up this module. बोलो, कोई doubt है तो बोलो.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, fine.
Alright.
So let us solve one problem related to fatigue design under combined stress, and then we will end this module. So let us take down one problem. Just let me erase all these things. Okay, so let us take down this problem. The problem is a machine component is subjected to two-dimensional stresses. See, it is written in the very first line. You got one information that there is a machine component which is subjected to two-dimensional stresses. The tensile stress in x direction varies from 40 to 100 Newton per millimeter square. That means what is given to you? Sigma x minimum is given to you, that is how much? 40 Newton per mm square, and sigma x maximum is given to you, which is 100 Newton per millimeter square, while the tensile stress in the y direction varies from 10 to 80 Newton per mm square. That means sigma y minimum is given to me, that is 10 Newton per mm square, and sigma y maximum is given to me, that is 80 Newton per mm square. Frequency of variation of these stresses is equal. Corrected endurance limit of the component is 270 Newton per mm square. That means AC is given to you, corrected endurance limit 270 Newton per mm square, and the ultimate tensile strength of the material of component is 660 Newton per mm square. That means SUT is given to you. SUT is equal to 660 Newton per mm square. Determine the factor of safety used by the designer. Now, first of all, I have to identify that this problem means this is which category of problem. Fine, whether it is a problem of fatigue design under combined stresses, or whether it is a problem that we can solve easily by a Venn diagram, or it is a problem that we will solve easily by modified Goodman diagram. So from this line, from this two-dimensional stress line, as well as you can see that it is given that x direction stress is varying from 40 to 100 newton per millimeter square. In y direction stress is varying from 10 to 80 newton per millimeter square. That means in x direction stress is fluctuating in nature, in y direction stress is fluctuating in nature, and since it is a two-dimensional problem, that means this problem is nothing but this is a problem of fatigue design subjected to two-dimensional stresses. So if it is a problem of fatigue design subjected to two-dimensional stresses, then I can use these equations. In case of two-dimensional stresses, this is that equation. Fine. This is mean stress. This is alternating stress. I can use these equations to determine the factor of safety of the problem. So did you understood the problem? How we will identify the problem and what all data are given to me in the problem? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So now let us solve the problem. Okay. So since if you see this equation, fine. I need the mean component of stress. I need the alternating component of stress. But in x direction also you are having mean component. In y direction also you are having mean component. So very first step is first I will calculate what in x direction what is the mean component of stress. In y direction what is the alternating component of stress. I know that mean component of stress, that is sigma xm, is given by the equation half sigma x maximum plus sigma x minimum. Sigma x maximum is 100, sigma x minimum is 40. So sigma x mean will be half of 100 plus 40, which is 70 Newton per millimeter square. Similarly, alternating stress, that is sigma x alternating, it will be half of sigma x maximum minus sigma x minimum, that is half of 100 minus 40, which is 30 Newton per mm square. Similarly, in y direction, there will be mean stress. In y direction, there will be alternating stress. Let us find out the value of mean stress first. That is sigma y mean, which is half times of sigma y maximum plus sigma y minimum. In the question, sigma y maximum is 80, sigma y minimum is 10. Then sigma y mean becomes half of 80 plus 10, which is 45 Newton per mm square, and sigma y alternating is half of sigma y max minus sigma y mean, that is half of 80 minus 10, that is 35 Newton per millimeter square. That means we got the value of sigma xm, sigma xa, sigma ym, sigma ya. क्या यहाँ तक कोई डाउट किसी को?
No, sir.
अदर पीपल प्लीज रेस्पॉन्ड. बाकी लोग रेस्पॉन्ड करो, कोई
Yes.
डाउट है?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So again, if we go back to the equation, I got the value of xm, sigma xm, sigma ym. I got the value of sigma xa and sigma ya. And since it is a 2D problem, I can use these two equations to get the value of sigma m and sigma a. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So let us use these two
Yes.
equations and find out the values of sigma m, that is mean stress acting along x and y direction, and sigma a, that is alternate resultant alternating stress acting along x and y direction. Let us find out. So sigma m is under root sigma xm square minus sigma xm into sigma ym plus sigma ym square. So sigma xm, I know it is how much? It is 70 Newton per mm square, and sigma ym is how much? Sigma ym is 45 Newton per millimeter square. Just substitute these values in this equation. Finally, I will get sigma m is equal to 61.44 Newton per millimeter square, which is equation A. क्या कोई डाउट है किसी को इक्वेशन ए में?
No, sir.
बाकी लोग रेस्पॉन्ड करो थोड़ा. क्या कोई डाउट है किसी को?
No, sir. No.
फाइन।
हाँ सर क्लियर।
तो सिग्मा एम निकल
Yes.
गया। अभी नेक्स्ट निकालना है मुझे क्या, नेक्स्ट मुझे निकालना है सिग्मा ए। फॉर्मूला मैं जानता हूँ दैट सिग्मा ए इज इक्वल टू अंडर रूट सिग्मा एक्स ए स्क्वायर माइनस सिग्मा एक्स ए इंटू सिग्मा वाई ए प्लस सिग्मा वाई ए स्क्वायर। So in this equation I will substitute the value of sigma xa and sigma ya जो कि मैंने अभी अभी निकाला है, that is sigma xa is how much, it is 30 Newton per millimeter square, and sigma ya is how much, it is 35 Newton per millimeter square. Substitute these two values in the equation of sigma a. I will get sigma a to be 32.79 Newton per millimeter square, which is equation number B. क्या कोई डाउट है इक्वेशन ए एंड इक्वेशन बी में?
No, sir.
फाइन, ओके। तो मुझे मिल गया सिग्मा ए, मुझे मिल गया सिग्मा एम। फाइन। नेक्स्ट इज what, now I have to use the modified Goodman diagram. But if you see this problem carefully, in this problem nowhere it is written that this problem is subjected to a combined bending and torsional stress or a combined bending and axial stress. But in this problem what has been told to you that it is a two-dimensional problem in which a tensile stress is varying, and it is varying from 40 to 100 Newton per mm square in x direction and 10 to 80 Newton per millimeter square in y direction. And I know that tensile stress is nothing but a axial stress, and for axial stress I will use Goodman diagram for modified Goodman diagram for axial and bending stress. That means which diagram will I use? I will use this diagram, that is this diagram I will use to find out the value of factor of safety. अगर इस प्रॉब्लम में x डायरेक्शन में जो स्ट्रेस लग रहा है, y डायरेक्शन में जो स्ट्रेस लग रहा है, अगर ये बोल देता कि भाई ये जो x एंड y डायरेक्शन में जो स्ट्रेस लग रहा है दैट इज shear स्ट्रेस, देन मैं मॉडिफाइड गुडमैन डायग्राम, ये वाला जो गुडमैन मॉडिफाइड गुडमैन डायग्राम ये मैं यूज नहीं करूंगा। क्यों? बिकॉज दिस मॉडिफाइड गुडमैन डायग्राम इज एप्लीकेबल फॉर ओनली एक्सियल एंड बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस। देन आई विल स्विच ओवर टू दिस डायग्राम दैट इज मॉडिफाइड गुडमैन डायग्राम फॉर टॉर्शनल शियर स्ट्रेस। आया समझ में कि कौन सा डायग्राम कब यूज करना है? हेलो?
Yes
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, fine. So you have to read the problem carefully. Accordingly, you have to think
Yes, sir.
that which diagram you have to use. क्वेश्चन में लिखा नहीं रहेगा, लिखा रह भी सकता है, नहीं भी लिखा रह सकता है। अगर नहीं लिखा रहेगा तो ऐसे आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि कौन सा डायग्राम मैं चूज करूंगा प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने के लिए। फाइन, ओके। So I came to know that I will use modified Goodman diagram for axial stress. And for modified Goodman diagram, I know that tan theta is how much? Tan theta is sigma A by sigma m. Already I got sigma A. Sigma A is 32.79 Newton per mm square and sigma m is 61.44 Newton per mm square. So tan theta will be sigma A by sigma m. Sigma A is 32.79, sigma m is 61.44. So theta will be tan inverse of 32.79 divided by 61.44, which is coming out to be 28.09 degree. क्या कोई डाउट?
No, sir.
Theta is 28.09 degree. Any doubt? Fine. तो
No, sir.
जब मुझे थीटा मिल गया है, आई नो दैट इन मॉडिफाइड गुडमैन डायग्राम, fine, Goodman line is a line which is a straight line joining SE in y-axis to SUT in x-axis. Fine. Now in this diagram I will draw this straight line OE. How I will draw? I know the value of theta 28.09 degree. I will take the protector and I will draw an inclined line OE at an angle of 28.09 degree from sigma m axis. So when you draw this line OE, this line OE will intersect your Goodman diagram at which point? Point X. And this point X is nothing but the failure point for this problem. Again, this point X will have two coordinate, one coordinate in X direction and one coordinate in Y direction. In x direction, the coordinate is SM. In y direction, the coordinate is SA. Fine. So the equation of Goodman line is what? I know that equation of Goodman line is, since it is a straight line, so x by a, this is the equation of straight line, plus y by b is equal to 1, where a and b are intercepts of x and y axis. X is nothing but my sigma m, y-axis is nothing but my sigma a, intercept of x-axis, that means where this curve is joining, that is nothing but x sut, value of a is sut, and value of b, that means in y-axis where it is joining, that is nothing but se. So final equation of Goodman line becomes sigma m by sut plus sigma a by se equal to 1, but we are interested in at point x. So for point x, this equation becomes, in x-axis the coordinate is SM, coordinate of point x is SM in x-axis, and SA in y-axis. So in place of sigma m, I will write SM, and in place of sigma a, which is y-axis, I will write SA. So finally the equation becomes SM by SUT plus SA by SE equal to 1. SUT is given in the problem, that is 660. SE is given in the problem, which is 270. So you will get one equation, that is SM by 660 plus SA by 270 equal to 1, which is equation number 1. You need one more equation to get the value of SM and SA. Fine. So that equation, from where you will get, if you consider this particular triangle, this is theta, this is your perpendicular, which is nothing but SA. This is your base, which is nothing but your SM. I can write tan theta is equal to perpendicular by base, that is SA by SM. Theta already I have calculated, that is 28.09 degree. So tan of 28.09 degree is equal to SA by SM. So you are having two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. You will solve these two equations and you will get the value of SM and SA, and those values are coming out to be SA equal to 152.88 Newton per mm square, and SM is 286.29 Newton per mm square. क्या यहाँ तक कोई डाउट SM एंड SA के कैलकुलेशन में?
No, sir.
No, sir.
बाकी लोग बताओ, कोई डाउट है कि नहीं है?
No, sir.
ओके,
Yes.
फाइन. तो मुझे मिल गया SA, मुझे मिल गया SM. नाउ आई नीड टू फाइंड आउट द वैल्यू ऑफ फैक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी. I know that factor of safety is what? It is failure stress by permissible stress. And since the
Yes.
entire component is failing in fatigue, so which component I have to take? I have to take the alternating component. Alternating component is nothing but SA, whose value is 152.88 Newton per millimeter square, and this SA will become my failure stress. So factor of safety is equal to SA, where SA is failure stress, and corresponding to failure stress SA, what is my permissible stress? Permissible stress is nothing but sigma A, and sigma A already I have calculated, that is 32.79 Newton per mm square. So my factor of safety is SA by sigma A, that is 152.88 by 32.79. Finally, your factor of safety comes out to be 4.66. So this is the factor of safety which the designer will choose while designing this two-dimensional problem under fatigue. कोई doubt?
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir, fine, sir.
Okay. बाकी लोगों को कोई doubt?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. So with this, we have completed this entire module. We are done with this entire module. There are many more problems are there in the book. Some solved problems are there, unsolved problems are there. Please go through those solved and unsolved problems. Fine. So Just wait for a minute.